Welcome back, viewers, and we've left with Rumina. You were just completing to say something
about the quality
yeah,
of
that's
the
right.
quantity.
Yeah, could you?
As Abu Bakr said to my right here, when a tenant leaves, the list of dilapidations, you want to keep it to minimal as possible. Carrying out property inspections as the property management service provides is very, very important. Go in because the property inspections ascertains your landlord's happy and your tenants are happy. If you go in and check and take a list of problems and you get it fixed within the tenancy, then you don't have anything going wrong towards the end. You can put the property back on the market, and that void period is very small for the landlord. So don't always look for, quantity. It is quality.
The quality
I'd rather
of
lose
service.
out £20 a week rather than my landlord being lumbered with a bill for £5,000 towards the end.
Okay, that's excellent. Actually, what you've just added there is value. Okay, over the years, what changes have you seen in the industry?
My God, we've had ups and downs and highs and lows. I think the changes are landlords are getting a lot more confident. Tenants are getting a little bit more clever. They're actually now reading up on the literature, but that's also because a lot of tenants have been bitten, and they've suffered. You've got estate agencies out there who take the 6 weeks deposit and can't verify the reasons. If a tenant is charged dilapidations from the deposits, the agency needs to provide deposit invoices, actually show that the works are done. But you have the tenants deposit scheme, which favours the tenants at the same time. The problem is there's so many laws coming into place, and it doesn't always protect the landlord. So you need to ensure that you make your tenant your best friend. Okay. To be honest with you, the changes, with the property crash as well, that was a hard time. You couldn't just sit there and have leads come in from the websites and the portals, You had to go out and do it. You had to pick up the phone. It was harder to sell, but that's what separates the boys to the men. Okay. It's very easy doing a deal when a lead comes in, but to actually go and get the business, that's what makes you a good negotiator. But property is property. Everybody needs a home. Everybody needs a roof.
That's true, yeah.
So whether the market's good or bad, everyone's always going to either buy, everyone's always going to rent.
Okay, you mentioned two things earlier on, the deposit scheme.
Yes.
And the property crash.
Yes.
Right? I want to ask you two questions on that.
Sure.
The deposit scheme, can you just explain that a little bit?
So the tenants, as I said, landlords, there's a lot of landlords who try and take the deposit without giving an explanation, or they'll say, there's a burnt mark on my carpet, so I have to replace the whole carpet. Now, for a foreigner who's renting in the UK, they don't know the rules and they don't know the regulations. So what's happened, the government has seen so many complaints through the property ombudsman where tenants have gone in and said, I've put down a 6-week deposit and this is how much my landlord's charging him, and the tenant can't do anything about it. So the government's now put in a tenancy deposit scheme in place which protects the tenant's right. So they become an arbitrator, so they're the people in the middle. Okay. So when a property is rented, you have an inventory check which will list all the fixtures, fittings, how new it is, how new it's not, and at the end of the tenancy you have a checkout report. Okay. So the managing agents, as in Clarendon, they will look in the check-in and the check-out and they'll see the dilapidation, like what's missing. 5 forks, 4's missing. You can charge for 4. Doesn't mean you can charge for a whole set, okay, but you can charge for 4. So then the list of dilapidations are then sent to the tenants. If they don't agree, then the tenancy deposit scheme gets involved. I would try and agree and fix it before it gets to the tenancy deposit scheme, only because they favour the tenants more. But at the beginning of their tenancy, when you register the deposit, you must provide, and it's very, very important that you provide the tenants with the certificate. Yep. And this is it's a 4-page certificate. Okay. You just send it, because if at the end of tenancy you haven't and there's an issue, you don't get any of the deposit. It will go all towards.
Well, furthermore, if I can add to that, you'll get a serious penalty as well.
Yes.
Okay. So it is in the interest of the landlord or the managing agent to actually put it into the scheme, which is obviously it's been
and how does someone, if someone was in a situation, and how do they actually go about getting him involved or getting the ombudsman involved?
Google it. Go to Google, Property Ombudsman, pick up the phone and call them.
Okay. So
well, other one is
it's as
obviously
simple as just making a call and
Yeah,
it's
or
registered.
just read up on it.
Yeah.
Read up on it.
And another thing I just wanted to sort of fill up as well. One of the main reasons as well why the deposit scheme was set up is purely because there's been times where agents or landlords had actually held serious amount of money on behalf of landlords. So in their business account, they would have, if you imagine on average an agent can manage up to 50, 100, 200 properties. Now, if you can imagine the deposit, on average, each deposit, I would say minimum about £1,500 to £2,000 for each property.
And that's an interest-bearing account as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So they would have serious amount of money that doesn't actually belong to them, which obviously the tenant's money in their business account. And, it's sad to say, but there are rogue traders out there that would one day decide to think, you know what, I'm going to actually shut my shop and walk away with that deposit, which means the tenants has lost out and the landlord is also stuck because now he has to sort of
provide it back.
Yeah, provide it back to the tenant. So that's another fundamental reason why those schemes were set up. And I'll be honest with you, I think it's for the better.
Absolutely.
Because what it does, it actually gets rid of the bad apples, so to speak.
True.
If you're going to do business the right way, laws and deposit schemes and ombudsmans, they shouldn't actually what should I say?
Be a concern to
you at all,
be
because they're actually there to protect you, landlord, and the tenants as well.
Okay, thank you. Do you have anything to add to that?
No, Abu and Ramina's covered it as he advises. Basically, a lot of agents, there are a lot of agents out there that are holding on to people's deposits, and it's just a matter of time really where they could decide we're going to shut shop and we're going to go. So people like innocent landlords, innocent tenants, their deposits will be lost, they will be stuck, and it gives a bad reputation to the actual estate agent industry
yeah.
because of the few minority that be doing that. So the best thing, the way we look at it is, even ourselves, we have been regulated to the bone. We had to make sure that we've got all the regulations in place to secure ourselves, our landlords and our tenants, to make sure that they're all covered, we're covered, and it's stress-free for them, and it's a peace of mind for us.
And what it also does, if I can add as well, what it also does, it kind of reinforces the landlords as well, so they can see how they are with certain bodies, so it kind of puts more trust in them for you, so it's not a bad thing at all.
Excellent.
Yeah. Last week, Mukit Miah, we had a landlord that wanted to sell the property, but she actually wanted to come and see all our paperwork before she gave the property. Yeah. So there's nothing wrong in that. You should, if you're going to give your property to somebody, make sure you go down and you see they're properly regulated, they've got all the paperwork, and if the agents have got nothing to hide, then they'll provide you everything. And if you want to know how and what regulations that you need to look into, like Rumina said, just go on to Google and check out, everything's on there.
Okay, yeah. I guess it's quite regulated, the industry.
Very.
It sounds
Everything's
regulated.
regulated.
That's something to bear in mind if you want to go into that business, actually.
But you have to also know it. If you want to sell yourself and you sell your company, you have to be confident within yourself and the rules and the regulations. Even if they don't benefit you, you still need to make yourself aware of everything that's going around, because if someone asks you questions and you can't answer it, that automatically makes you look like a rookie, and you don't want that.
Okay. What advice would you give someone about buying at the moment?
Gosh, I don't believe the market's dead. I believe the market's a little bit sick at the moment. The central market is proving to be quite difficult in terms of sales. However, rentals has taken a hike, which is good. I would say all the affordable stuff. So anything under £500,000, anything under 400,000. You won't be affected by Brexit, because again it's affordable. Our government has brought in these cooling measures with the extra 3% tax only because all the overseas market were taking everything. There's a new development every corner of UK at the moment.
I thought it was a negative thing about the tax.
No, it is a negative thing because now the overseas market has calmed down. They're not buying. You had Hong Kong, you had Singapore, you had Malaysia buying everything, which didn't give us, the average workers or the average earners, to buy anything.
Okay. I like the way you put that, actually.
No,
yeah.
it's true. And you know, the first thing an estate agency does is go overseas to an exhibition to sell off-plan properties. Now, they all buy it, which is fine, but it doesn't give us the opportunity. Now that this, although as much as I don't like it as a homeowner as well, you know, the second property that I buy, I have to pay the extra 3%. However, it stops the overseas market coming and raining on your parade, if you know what I mean.
Okay. You mentioned something about the property crash that happened recently.
Yes.
Okay. I know we all said there was a crash.
Yeah.
Was there a crash?
There was. I mean, in
I haven't
terms
seen no properties going really
no, what
cheap
happened?
out
I
there.
tell you what happened during the crash. When a vendor puts on a property on the market for sales, they always add, let's just say 20k more, 10%, 20%. Even let's just say £25,000 more. And what happened was, rather than negotiating 5,000, 10,000, they knew that they could only sell the property at market price. That you couldn't get £1,000 over it, you couldn't get £1,000 under it. So, and I was on the rental side at that point so much. Although the property market crashed on the sales side, rentals went up, so I was all right.
Okay, so rentals do go up actually in those situations.
They do.
Yes. Would you want to say anything about the property crash, Olivia?
No, I think she's.
No problem.
I think it was more of a panic than a
Yeah.
crash.
That's what I thought.
That's
Yeah,
what it is. It
that's
was
what
more
I
of
thought.
panic.
I think the agents made it look a lot bigger than it actually was.
Yeah. I thought that. Okay, now you mentioned Brexit earlier on. What effect do you see Brexit has on the British housing market? We've got 4 minutes to break, so
Sure.
obviously
I
after the break we'll continue.
I can't tell you what I foresee because property is a risky business, you know, from start to finish. But what I have seen so far is the rentals have gone up, as in the people that are renting, and the buyer. A lot of our buyers are all under £500,000 at the moment. I haven't seen any of my negotiators or any members of my team at the moment in the last 5 months close anything above £1 million or above 500. So, but I think that's just the uncertainty. It's just the uncertainty.
What's going on?
Yeah.
Sorry.
It is the public, though. It's the people, isn't it? And I will say it's the media as well. That what they actually do is they put hype. The property market's collapsing. It's collapsing, and we're in recession.
Just go to the break now. Sorry.
Sure.
Viewers, once again, stay tuned. See you after the break.